So, in my latest COD 4 video, I had a lot of people comment saying that what would be good is to do some kind of Pokemon Let's Play. Whether it be one of the first ones or the most recent ones, whatever, don't really know. What I'll probably do is I'll put like all of them on the screen at some point in some future video, and I'll just kind of go by which is the most popular, you know? They're all good games, so I don't really mind which. That being said, I am going to hold it off for a while because I don't know how many of you guys have been subscribed to me for a while, but back in the day my channel was a lot more active. I was getting maybe, I don't know, 10,000 or so views per video. It's not that I'm really disappointed or annoyed or whatever that my views have dropped. It's more a case of I want to get my views back up again before I start some kind of full Let's Play. Whenever you start a Let's Play, you really want to finish it, and if you see the views drop below a certain amount, it becomes demoralizing and you don't want to finish. I don't know if anyone else has had the same problem, but it's a weird mental thing, like you don't want to have the enthusiasm to want to finish it, so I'm going to hold off for a bit and then probably do it later on, but definitely that is something which I would love to do. Now, on with the battle. Here we have a Honeclaw's Golduck. This is the first one I've ever actually come across. Honeclaw's Golduck is definitely something you do not want to mess with. It gets access to Cross Chop, Ice Punch, Aqua Jet, Hypnosis if you want to go that kind of route. So it's not too bad. In any case, it can't really do too much to Tentacle, so he's going to switch out into a Moongus, which is definitely one of the biggest, bulkiest, and most trollish walls in the NU tier at the moment. I don't know how it's still NU, but use it while you can, let me tell you. He goes for a Spore, and that is going to put me to sleep. I thought, okay, fair enough. If anything's going to be sleep fodder, I'd rather it be Tentacle, because it's only really there to take hits. So I'll switch out, go into Wormadam here, and he does predict that very nicely and goes for a Stun Spore. Now the guy I was against here, I forget his name, Blackwing, that's the name. Blackwing was making some good predictions, and I was playing pretty badly at the start of the game, and towards the end I finally stepped my game up, but it was a very close ending nonetheless. So anyways, I switch out here as he goes to Electros, I go into Tentacle, and that definitely does not look like a good matchup for me. I'm going to switch out and go into my Swoobat here. Now that might seem like a really dodgy play, but I was actually predicting Coil, because, you know, most Electroses I see tend to be Coil, you know, Thunder Punch, Aqua Tail, whatever. So that could have been risky, but luckily I do predict right. However, what I do then is I give him the choice specs, thinking he was probably choiced in some way already and that he'd want to switch out. That is not the case, he's Expert Belt, and now I've just given him choice specs, which, if anything, is going to help him. Not too big a deal, as it does actually help me out a little bit later on in the game, so not too bad. You win some, you lose some. Now, I bring in 50 Cent, who is definitely the bling-blingiest of my team, and he can take hits for days. Gonna take the Fake Out like it's nothing, and you know, the thing about this Kecleon is that the set itself kind of confused me. I think earlier on there was a point where I stayed in with something else. It might have been Swoobat. Can't remember, but I predicted something else, and it turns out to be like a Life Orb Fake Out set, so... Actually, no, I thought it would have Stealth Rocks, which is why I stayed in earlier with Swoobat. Now, you'll see another Stealth Rock related prediction come up in a sec. Graveler comes in. I assume it's going to be the same as Golem, you know, Stone Edge, Earthquake, Stealth Rock, Sucker Punch, you know, that kind of stuff. So fair enough. Go for an Earthquake just to get some good damage on it. Now, Wormadam G, I am still more of a fan of Wormadam S, personally. I just like the typing, and, you know, it's just an all-round awesome Pokemon. And look at this! Whoa! Unprotected Focus Punch! That was not something I was expecting. That is gonna wreck 50 Mighty Hyenas. At least 50. No chance of living that. And I feel like I made a bit of an obvious play there going into Mighty Hyena. What I was actually predicting was Stealth Rock, because he hadn't set them up yet, and I assumed it would have it. But, you know, that was a great prediction, I have to hand it to him. Going for the Focus Punch, which would have done nothing to Wormadam. Definitely caught me off guard there, so I thought, right, none of this, gotta step my game up. Wormadam, you go in there, finish him off with the Toxic, that's fine. Down goes the Graveler. Now we have the problem of Golduck. Now, I do still have Tentacle, but I am sleeping, so he could easily set up on me, you know, so I don't want to risk it too much. So I guess for Hone Claws, I kind of assumed that would happen, so I think I stay in and go for an Earthquake just for damage. Get paralyzed, which is unfortunate, but hey, what can you do? That is what paralysis is for. Now I guess for Aqua Jet, which kind of suggests that he doesn't really have anything better to hit Wormadam with. Or, I guess he might have Ice Punch, but he's saving it for later, for my Leavanny. My personal Golduck set is Aqua Jet, Ice Punch, Cross Chop, and Hone Claws. I assume it's going to be something similar. Maybe Zen Headbutt, but can't really tell. So I go for a Leaf Blade on the incoming Garbodor. Now, I don't feel too bad about that dodgy prediction because there's not really too much that Leavanny can do to Garbodor anyway. Now I'm going to switch out, go into Coco as he goes for a layer of spikes. I thought, okay, great, now I can set up my own stuff if he's going to carry on going for Toxic Spikes or Stealth Rock, whatever it is that Garbodor does. It's a bin bag Pokemon and, you know, quite appropriately, it just throws crap onto the field. You know, rocks and spikes and whatever, just throws it at you, just throws out all of its body parts. And that is why Garbodor is such a good wall in the NU tier. So I go for a Nasty Plot. I figure may as well get some damage going. As it goes for a Gunk Shot, he does miss, which might, I don't think it would have killed, but it would have done a decent chunk. Now I go for a Flamethrower, and that is going to do a hell of a lot of damage to Garbodor. I don't know if it's physically or specially defensive, but actually I don't even know if I'm +2 or +4 at this point, but in any case, it does quite a bit of damage. Now Kecleon comes in, and because I'm Eviolite, I'm going to take the Fake Out pretty damn well. And of course, I do have the Vacuum Wave, which I can easily finish him off with. Or not, because apparently I go for the Flamethrower. Don't ask me why. No, actually, no, I do have a legit reason for this. I go for Flamethrower because I was kind of trying to save the Vacuum Wave, hoping that his Golduck would not go for Aqua Jet, but then again, why would he not go for Aqua Jet? I don't know. I forget my reasoning, to be honest, but I had a reason at the time, and apparently it didn't work out so well. In any case, I go into Tentacle as he goes for Aqua Jet, and, you know, obviously I can take that pretty well. Now, here's the point in the game where me tricking the Choice Specs onto the Eelektross actually comes into play in a sec. So I go to Leavanny, and, no, sorry, it is in a couple of turns' time. But it goes for Hone Claws. I figured he might try and do that because I am asleep. And now I'm just going to take the opportunity to get some damage or whatever. Now here I make probably my first decent prediction of the game. Goes into Amoonguss, and I'm having none of this. I say, no, 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 no. X-Scissor. No Leaf Blade for you, Amoonguss. Now Leavanny doesn't have the best of attack, but it's pretty solid, and it does have the dual typing for the dual stab. You know, the X-Scissor, the Leaf Blade. Mine is a Choice Scarf variant with... I think my other two moves are Me First and Baton Pass. Yeah, Baton Pass just to predict switches, that kind of thing. But I go to Tentacle here, not wanting to take a Flamethrower, and he's going to stay in here, I guess not wanting to take a possible burn from the Scald on his Golduck. That's fair enough. I do wake up here, finally get off a Scald, and that's going to do a decent little chunk of damage and get the burn, which is always nice. Now, Eelektross having the Choice Specs now, the great thing about me actually tricking him was that I could actually get off that burn, and, you know, now I've got some nice residual damage going. So I can go into Monferno here just to finish him off. I'm not going to try and set up because he's obviously going to kill me. So I go for a Flamethrower, which is, of course, Blaze boosted. Take him out, which is nice, and I believe it's now just Leavanny and Monferno versus Golduck, which is good. So it brings in Golduck, and he is going to go for an Aqua Jet, which is obviously going to take out Monferno. That's fair enough. Now it comes down to Leavanny versus Golduck. Place your bets, folks. Who is going to win? Choice Scarf Leavanny is certainly not playing any games. The reason I call him Chosen One, by the way, I don't know if I've explained this before, but it always reminds me of that scene from the end of Star Wars where Anakin is burning in the fire. And Obi-Wan says, "You are the Chosen One! You were supposed to defeat evil and whatever." And the reason I call him that is because that's how I always feel when he dies. And also, it normally involves fire, so I thought it was quite an appropriate name. In any case, hope you guys enjoyed the match, and with that being said, I will see you all next time. Goodbye.